All right, Shalom. We're gonna get started here shortly. We'll get started here shortly, man. Let a few people come in. Share this real quick. Make sure I'm actually live. Yeah, so the weather and the streets in Dallas, you know, Dallas doesn't have the infrastructure to deal with snow. You can see in the background, it's a little snow going on. So we're doing live streams today. We're gonna do live streams today, and tomorrow we'll do classes regular, I'm sure. Yeah, so the Dallas camps, you know, brothers are doing streams together, and we're going live, you know, whether we pair up or just going live. So I'm just gonna go live here, man, for camp today. All right, so Abaratazah, man, is edifying. Check the stream real quick, make sure I'm live. Go live here, man, for camp today. We good. All right, so Abaratazah, man, is edifying. No further ado, let's get started. Want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rechah HaKodash. Want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth and sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Now, these past few years, they always start off with a lot of commotion. It always starts off with prophecy, the groundwork for prophecy being more solid. Okay, Trump says he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. Wants to take, you know, make Canada and these different parts of this hemisphere, you know, part of America, so to speak. Is that not Habakkuk 2? He heapeth unto himself all people. So everybody's in that mindset of strategically gearing up for war. Even those fires, when you look at the Palisades and it's off that coast right there, that would be, you know, I'm pretty sure they have military bases up and down California. This is just a thought I had. But it would be a very strategic place to have, you know, a military base. So, you know, if you couldn't just make all those people move and, you know, make a big deal out of it and shake up the public by saying, hey, we need to evacuate you out of your homes. You want to build a base here? Just burn that shit down and then put something else there, you know? Because when you look at, you talk about Russia and America, Russia's much closer to our west coast. All right, let me see if I can find a map. Let me see if I can pull up a map for y'all and show you real quick. Bear with me real quick. Pull up these images here. All right, so just so y'all get an idea, let me see. It looks like it might be backwards on y'all screen, but so the west coast of America, California being down here, Alaska being up here, this is Russia, man. If it pop off between these two nations, this area, America will have to make sure this whole area, man, is secure, especially up here. You know, the warfare is gonna be fought differently, but everybody's gearing up for war. They might not be saying that to their citizens on their news, but that's what's happening. And we know World War III has to happen. All right, we know the mark of the beast has to be made mandatory. These things we're waiting on, because once these things play out, those are the two major prophecies that have to play out before we're delivered out of this place. Things are moving quicker than what a lot of people think. All right, and through all of this, you got a lot of people with fringes on their t-shirts who aren't concerned about the big picture, who are still trying to money grab here, establish something here. No, we're supposed to be condemning this place, and the majority of them do, but that's not in the forefront of their ministry. Now, let me go to Habakkuk 2 to back up what I said. All right, we know this devil's going to be heaping unto him all people, and that takes place on many levels. All right, but this is just another level with the whole Trump thing. Habakkuk 2 and 4, we'll start there. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. There's a man in rulership who's profane, meaning to be outside the temple. Esau's a profane man. all his decrees, his motivations are to go against righteousness, right? Let me pull it up here on this. I want to get this word real quick. Bear with me while this loads up. Okay, so lift it up. Let me get that word upright. Yashar, H3474. Yashar, to be upright. Yashar Wamba, that's Elder Yashar Wamba's name. All right, to be right, to be straight, to be level, to be upright, be just, as he's not a just man. You go to Isaiah 10:1, it talks about all the unrighteous decrees that he pushes out in the earth. All right, to go straight, to be pleasing, be agreeable, right? All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Let's read that again. Habakkuk 2:4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, he's a proud man, is not upright in him. But the just, talking about the elect, but the just shall live by his faith. Okay? So the elect, we're going to make it through this by what? By faith. And we're supposed to be using this grace period right now to build up our faith, so that we can endure the tests and the trials that are getting ready to come upon the earth. Now, verse 5, it says what? Yet also because he transgresseth by wine, and the word there for wine, we let it load. It says yayan, but it's not talking about the literal wine that you drink. It's talking about the philosophies of a man, as majority of you know. Go to Proverbs 29 for that. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. Wherever he goes, the conditions of hell follow him, along with the conditions of death follow this man. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. He's starting with that dollar. He's found a way to bend all the nations to his will. You can't do trade and business on the earth unless you're using that dollar. And anybody that tries to get away from it, they're made out to be a terrorist. They're made out to be the problem, and they're eliminated. Look what happened to Gaddafi. Okay, I forgot which administration it was, and maybe one of you on the comment board knows. But when we switched off of the gold standard and started a fiat currency, all right, it was no longer backed by actual. Let me just break it down for the people that's new. Okay, what made paper money valuable is that it was backed by gold or silver or material that you had. So if you had this amount of gold, you printed X amount of money. Okay? So you couldn't just keep printing more money because it wouldn't be equivalent to the amount of gold that you had, right? So when we got off of the gold standard, they were free to just print a limited amount of money, all right? Thus making the money worth less, okay? But a way they stabilized that dollar is they went to the Middle East, they went to these nations with the oil reserves, and they said, hey, we'll offer you military help and weapons and all these things. But you have to sell your resources, you have to sell your oil using the dollar in exchange. That created, made it the world reserve currency and forced all the nations to use that dollar. You understand? So the dollar is entrenched in the fabric of trade throughout the world. So that's a way that he's gathered unto him all nations as well. All right. Also, he has U.S. embassies in the majorities of the countries around the world. And it's not just the regular embassy. They push their philosophy. They push their way on these other nations. You understand? All right. Verse 5 again from the top. Yeah, also because he transgressed by. Okay, I'm not sure how. It's 30 degrees outside. That's strange. Okay. Just want to make sure it picks back up. So I guess when it does, the audio will come back on. And if it has picked back up, somebody just let me know on the comment board if you're actually watching. Let me see. On the comment board if you're actually watching. Okay, all right. Let me see. It says it's back up. All right, yeah. So listen. Well, I just explained how the money works. Let's go back and read Habakkuk 2:5 again. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, all right? The embassies, the dollar that he's forced the whole world to use to do trade, all right? Now, Trump wanted to gather this side of the world and make it a part of America, right? Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death. The condition, hell is a living condition. The conditions of hell and the conditions of death follow this man wherever he goes. Cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Okay, this devil, we'll get Micah 2 after this. He's heaped unto himself everything. He's named the lands after himself. He's stolen resources from every country. And if you do find some new shit on your land, they're going to find a way to come and take it. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that thick clay, the actual word there, I know when you look up the word, it's like a mistranslation, but it should be a batyat. It means debt. How much, what's America's debt? Let's look it up. What is America's debt? America's debt total. So they got their people in debt, the central banks and this whole system that you know, that have these nations in a chokehold. All right, America's $36 trillion in debt. I know it's probably backwards on you guys' thing. $36 trillion as of January 9th, 2025. And then you got to ask, let's see if they'll tell the truth. Who is America in debt to? On here, it's going to tell you Japan and China. But we know it's the central banks. All right. And they may have branches of their central banks and their establishment in Japan and China. But we know who's ultimately pulling the strings, right? Look up those companies like Vanguard and BlackRock. How in every major corporation in the world, they have ties to it. They have a majority stock over those companies, you know? Turn this heat up just a pinch. Nothing too crazy. All right. So let's go get Micah 2 like we talked about and prove there is a man upon earth that's heaping unto himself all the people and the resources. Micah 2:1, it says, woe to him that devises iniquity and work evil upon their beds. In Proverbs, what is that, 16? It says they can't even sleep unless they come up with more plans and schemes to further the affliction of the people. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields, and they take them by violence. All right? You're going all the way back to Genesis. Esau's blessing was what? It was the sword. He would live by it. That's what Isaac told him. And he's carried that out. As you can see, who fits the bill? It's Esau, so-called white man. Micah 2:2. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay? So yeah, everything's playing out exactly the way the scripture said that they would. And this is why I want to go into today the importance of order, not only in your life, but amongst each other. You got to have order with yourself. You got to establish a discipline in yourself to pass this test coming up. And if you're a part of the brotherhood, you got to have order amongst each other. And you got to be in the mindset to submit to that order and understand it's not of men, okay? Where two or three are gathered, who's in the midst, right? So you got to understand that the orders that is set up here on the earth is of the heavens, okay? So we're going to talk about order. And I want to look up that word order first. And I'm going to look it up in the order, in the Edom online first. And then I'll get the Strongs for it. First, let me read this real quick, though. Let's read 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. That's where it's at. And then we'll look up that word order. 14, 40. All right. We'll start at 39. 1 Corinthians 14:39. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy. Understanding the prophecy is a major part of that armor, because we're able to see through the deception that the devil is going to sow in the earth. So you got to know prophecy, and if it is your job to teach, you got to be telling people, hey, this is what you're supposed to be looking out for. This is what's going to play out, and this is how the Lord said to stand up against it. All right. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy, and forbid not to speak with tongues. Okay, we're going to be scattered. It's going to be, Israelites that may speak Spanish, may speak this language and that language. We got brothers all over the world. There's a deaf camp in Holland, I believe. Did they even do sign language and bring it out? So the word is going out in many different tongues. And notice I'm talking about different languages, because that's what the scriptures are talking about when it says tongues. It's not talking about that gibberish they speak in the Baptist church. All right. Let's look up that word tongue. Look up the word tongue. It's Strong's G1100. Glossa. Okay. And it says tongue, member of the body. Okay. Jump down to that third definition there. It says the language or dialect used by a particular people, distinct from that of the other nations. All right. And then let's go to Acts 2. Let me pull it up real quick. Acts 2 and I'm gonna just start at the top. Vocab broke down Acts 2 earlier this week. I don't know if you guys seen that, if brothers responding to. I know Elder Yashwama did a lesson. I'm pretty sure other brothers did a lesson on it, man. This man went to Acts 2. And okay, I'm gonna give you the right breakdown, but then we're gonna talk about how vocab broke it down as well. So this will be a little lesson within the point that the order we're going into, right? Acts 2 and 1, it says, when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled the house wherein they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them, the disciples. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak in other tongues. They had their own tongue, and they began to speak in other tongues, other languages, as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews. Check this out. Now, vocab is breaking this down, saying these were just foreigners. These were heathen of other nations that came from other nations, and they came to the homeland. They came to the Commonwealth to worship with the actual bloodline descendants at that time. Would that have been okay back then? No. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men. It lets you know that they were Jews off the rip here. Verse 5. Devout men out of every nation under heaven, because we have been scattered even at that point. Verse 6. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. So this is letting you know in verse 6 that those tongues are what? A language. A language that people know. Verse 7. So it's not what they do in the church. They're damn shaking and gyrating on the floor and that's no. Verse 7. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? All right, these people are from here. They're from out this way. In verse 8 it says, and how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Remember, they were from everywhere, all these different places, and they spoke different languages. But all the people, all the devout Jews that came to Jerusalem heard these men which spoke Hebrew, heard them speak in their own language. You know how what Esau tries to do with his AI, where somebody can speak and it'll take a copy of that person's voice and flip it to a whole nother language so that a foreigner can understand? That's what the Lord did first. Okay? Verse 8. And how hear we every man in our own tongue wherein we were born? Parthians, Medes, these are just the lands they were from. This is not saying they were of those lineages of the people there, because in verse 5 it already told you that these were Jews. Acts 2 and 9. Parthians, Medes, and Elamites, and dwellers of Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and in Cappadocia, and in Pontus, and in Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, in Egypt, and the parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome. Strangers of Rome. Jews and proselytes. It's letting you know that they're from that holy bloodline. These were just men that were scattered. And they were coming back for the Pentecost. And it keeps going on all the different lands they were from. All right, back to our point. We were in 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. We were in 39. All right, 1 Corinthians 14 and 39. Wherein, brethren, covet to prophesy. Prophecy is going to be a big defense for the elect, because the deception that this devil sows, they're going to be able to see through it. Oh, nope. The Lord said it's going to play out this way. That can't be it. And they're going to lay it on thick. That's why in Matthew, the 24th chapter, the scriptures say if it were possible, this devil would be able to deceive the very elect. But it's not going to be possible, because the Lord's going to be with them. They're going to know prophecy. Okay. They're going to have on the full armor of God. They're going to know the scriptures. They're going to know what the Lord said to look for. All right. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. And we want to talk about order and the points of how to order and discipline in your life and amongst each other, right? And you look at this word order. It's taxis, and it's G5010. All right. And it says an arrangement, a fixed succession, observing a fixed time. Okay. So just like within a movie, you have act 1, act 2, and there's particular things that have to play out within the story, throughout the script, for the story to make sense and to be what the director wanted it to be. We are in the Lord's movie, okay? And we've been given insight into the script in the fixed succession that the prophecies are supposed to play out, in which things are supposed to take place. So we have a defense that's not of this world. We have a insight that's not of this world. It's important to be in tune with the scriptures, man, and to have the proper understanding of things, because it is a part of the tool bag. It is a part of the arsenal that you can need to fight this spiritual fight. Okay? Also, I want to go to Proverbs 24. I can go back and get that. Now let's get it now. Proverbs 24 and 3. Let's go there real quick. Okay? So this house you're building, this spiritual fortress that you're building within our grace period, man, what is it built with? Let's get it real quick. Proverbs 24 and 3. Yeah, Proverbs 24 and 3. Through wisdom is an house builded. And what wisdom? Not the wisdom of this world, but the wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Through wisdom is in house building, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. So you wanna establish your foundation with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay. Verse 5, a wise man is strong, yeah, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in the multitude of counselors there is safety. So the Lord has sent you his counsel. What? You go to Proverbs 1. The Lord told you that he set before the people his counsel. Proverbs 1:20. All right, Proverbs 1 and 20. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets, on the highways and byways, the chief places of concourse, and this internet, man. It's like a digital street that goes throughout the whole earth. All right? But the primary place where the prophets would be is on the highways and byways, right? Verse 21, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? and the scorners delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge. So I also use this precept to bring out, you see Jakes, they be in the barbershop, or they just be in the, telling what they prophesying. No, the primary arena in which the prophets will be teaching is on the highways and hedges. Okay, but I want to get verse 24 and 25 because it lets you know what we just read in Proverbs 24, that there's safety in the multitude of counsel. All right, and the Lord has sent out his prophets, which are counselors, to you. All right, so you could have this tool in your arsenal to fight this spiritual fight. Proverbs 1:24. Because I have called and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. So 2/3 of our people, they don't regard the counsel that the Lord has given. Verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel. Boom. There's the Lord's counsel. It talks about the truth being on the chief places of concord. So it's obviously his men bringing out the word. And then it talks about the people setting that counsel at naught, meaning disregarding it. Verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. And that's talking to not only 2/3 of our people, but you got to realize 2/3 of our people also include people with fringes. We've been warning people day in, day out what that mark is in Revelation 13:16. And due to a lot of their leaders' pride, they don't acknowledge it. So a lot of them are going to be shaky when they're confronted with that decision. And they're going to fold. And when they take it, like it talks about in Revelation the 14th chapter, you can't repent from it. Okay? Can't repent from it. Okay, so now let's go back. I want to go to Matthew 25th chapter. Get the parable. Matthew 25. We'll just start there at the top of Matthew 25. Okay? All right, so it's Matthew 25:1. It says, then shall the kingdom, this is what we desire. We desire for the kingdom of heaven to be established on the earth. We desire for righteousness to go forth. Okay? And it all starts with the chosen family of people. And this is for those who might walk by the Israelites, or for those, if you're confronted with the question, what's the point of these guys being out here with the sign, and why does it matter what color or what particular family the people? Because the Lord made that contract, both covenants, Romans 9:4, with this family of people. And the kingdom of heaven is going to be established on earth with these family of people in rulership. All right? And the elect of this family have to be sealed and awake to who they are and to walk in it before this process can come to fruition. So in order for earth to be made up, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom, great big old wedding, Yahushua being the bridegroom, we're likened unto his wife. You can go to Jeremiah 3:1 and Jeremiah 3:15. In that chapter, there's two examples for you. There's examples all over the scriptures. But those two scriptures can let you know that the nation of Israel is likened unto the Lord's woman. Okay, Matthew 25:1 again from the top. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins. 10 is the number of completion. Which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. All right? Yahushua being the bridegroom, the virgins obviously being the nation of Israel. Verse 2. And the 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. The oil represents the understanding. All right? The only way you could get that understanding off the rip is if the Lord chose you, and you decided to, well, not even that you decided, but the Spirit was on you to walk towards the Lord. Be a doer of the word and not a hearer only, to be, equipped with faith. Okay? Verse 3, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. The wise, the elect of the nation of Israel, they had the understanding. They were equipped with the wherewithal of what to watch out for being prepared, staying ready so that they didn't have to get ready. Okay? Verse 5, Matthew 25:5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. Okay? So while all this is going on, this grace period is happening, you have a lot of Israelites who they decided, like it talks about in Matthew, Matthew 6. They decided to build their riches here in this kingdom instead of storing up their riches in the kingdom of heaven. See, the moth and riches you get here, the riches you get here, moth and rust is going to corrupt it. It's all temporary. It's all going to fade away. It's all going to be stripped from you. And in order to even think about keeping it, you're going to have to make this man your God by receiving his mark. You understand? Let's read that again. Matthew 25:5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. So during the grace period, you have a big portion of our people who are not being circumspect, who are not concerned with the bridegroom and being on point for him. All right, verse 6. And at midnight, there was a cry in the middle of the night. The day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night, right? And at midnight, there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. All right. And here midnight represent the end of Esau's kingdom. All right. So, when Yahweh returns, that signifies this shit is done. All right. So that's the time we're in now, man. We're coming up upon midnight. We're in the 11th hour. Actually, there's a precept I want to read with this. Let's go to Ezekiel 9:4 real quick. Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, which is a people before it's a place, and set a mark. Now this word here, mark, is different than the mark in Revelation 13:16. It's just the wah, and it's a mark of exemption from judgment. All right, Ezekiel 9:4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So those wise virgins that we're reading about in Matthew the 25th chapter, they're going to be in the spirit of rejecting this kingdom and its ways and its philosophy. But those who are not, that don't have the oil in their lamps, they're going to be overly invested within this society. All right? And then in the mindset that comes along with this society is going to really just cut a lot of people off from the Lord even being able to deal with them, because they're going to be so, they haven't been renewed in the mind. They still have the mindset of an individual that wants this place to continue, and you can't have that mind and go with the Lord. All right, Matthew 25:6 again. And at midnight, the end of Esau's kingdom, there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil, for our lamps are going out. Give us your oil. It's going to be a time, Daniel 12. Let's go there real quick. Let's go to Daniel 12. I believe it's about verse 4. And I'll just start at the top, but I'm going to read it in the NLT. This is Daniel 12:1 in the NLT. It says, at that time, Michael, the archangel, who stands guard over your nation, stands guard over the children of Israel, will arise. Then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. But at that time, every one of your people whose name is written in the book of life, will be rescued. So the wise virgins are going to be rescued. The elect of the nation of Israel, they're going to be rescued. All right? They were in the mindset of being about the Lord's business. Verse 2, many of those whose bodies lie dead and buried will rise up, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting disgrace. Those who are wise will shine as bright as the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever. They're going to have a high status within the kingdom of heaven. All of Israel's going to be saved eventually, right? You have the elect who's going to escape the second death. And the 2/3 that die here, they're going to be born through the elect. And they're still going to have new bodies and have the law written within their inward parts. But there's going to be a separation in status. You know, you have the middle class and the high class. It's going to be a separation in status. And the Lord's going to do something to where everybody will just know it off the rip. Oh, this was one of those that escaped the old world. You know, verse 3 again from the top, Daniel 12:3 in the NLT. Those who are wise will shine as bright as the sky, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever. Verse 4. But you, Daniel, keep this prophecy a secret. Seal up the book until the time of the end. So the understanding of the scriptures would be sealed up until the time of the end, the full understanding. And we've recently gotten a full understanding back on the scripture, starting with Albert Bivens, going back to what, the 60s? Might have been before that. When Albert Bivens came on the scene, the coming back into our full mind of who we were, what the kingdom of heaven is about, what the Lord is planning to do. The Lord sealed that understanding up until this time. So us even having this understanding and preaching and going out is a major prophecy that we're all witnessing. Okay? Daniel 12:4 in NLT. But you, Daniel, keep this prophecy a secret. In the KJV it says, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book even into the time of the end. But we're going to jump back over to the NLT. It says, when many will rush here and there, and knowledge will increase. Okay? So it's going to come a time where, you know, hell's breaking loose, and people are going to be scrambling for this understanding. But as you all know, you don't get the fullness of this in a day. You don't get the fullness of this in a couple hours time. Now there's gonna be people that are saved at the last minute, just off the strength that they believe. But there's gonna be many people who want this understanding, but they wasted all this grace period to get it, being concerned with other things, so they're gonna be destroyed. Okay. Now let's go back to Matthew 25, and we were at verse 6, all right? And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, hell no, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. Okay? It's going to come a time, man, where the prophets ain't even going to be on the highways and byways. What we're doing right now, this does have an expiration date. This is one glory. This is one aspect of what of the Lord's plan. But we're about to transition into a different glory, where we're going to be walking out on faith, and the Lord's going to do more things that people can see. But it's already going to be decided, you know, who's going to make it and who's not. You know. And then it goes on to say what? Lest there be not enough for us and you, but go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. All right, yeah, look, figure this shit out for yourself. That time is past, right? And now I want to get with this. Now I just keep reading. All right, so we're in verse 10 now. It says, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came. And they, all right, during this grace period, they wasted their time getting into all of the bullshit, all this kind of bullshit, being concerned with things that didn't pertain unto what? Salvation. Is that not our goal? You have a lot of people that are getting caught up in things that have nothing to do with salvation. So in turn, they're going to miss the boat. The same way them niggas missed the boat during the flood. Right now, we're witnessing a lot of flood behavior. All right, Matthew 25:10 again. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. The same way during Noah's time, that door was shut, and Noah himself couldn't open the door even if he wanted to. The angel shut that door. All right. So the majority of these, you know, y'all know what it is. They're gonna be through. Verse 11, Matthew 25:11. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for know ye neither the day nor hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. Boom. You know? And it makes me think of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Let's go get that. Because now that we read that, let's go into the realization that those unwise virgins are going to be having. The scripture even gives you their inner thoughts that they're going to be going through when they witness the deliverance of the elect. All right. And I wonder how that reads in the GNT. Let's go see how Wisdom of Solomon 5 reads in the GNT. We read it all the time. Let's see if it how it reads. Let me go get it real quick. Bear with me, y'all. Gotta get my GNT app open. Wisdom of Solomon 5. All right, in the GNT. Okay, it reads, on that day, someone righteous, full of confidence, all right, in the elect, they're going to stand in great boldness, like it says in the KJV. It says the righteous man shall stand in great boldness. All right, will stand before those who oppressed him, standing before our oppressors. All of the nations oppress us. You can go to Psalms 83rd chapter. It talks about how they were confederate against the children of Israel and how they desired to cut us off from being a nation. But the chief amongst those nations, obviously, is Esau, Edom. All right, our nemesis from the jump. All right, will stand before those who oppressed him and made light of his labors. They will be amazed to see him safe and will tremble with fear. All right, in the midst of Jacob's trouble, in the midst of all the destruction, in the midst of all this great death, this time of peril that's going to surpass any time that's ever been upon the face of the earth, documented or undocumented, the elect are going to be safe in the midst of all of that. That's why the scriptures say, in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. Now, that's mainly the kingdom of heaven, but that starts here on this side, man. As the Lord does all these miraculous things to deliver us. All right, verse 3. Then they will regret what they did and groaning in anguish. Now, it's talking about the, not only 2/3 of our people, but everybody's going to be witnessing the power and the majesty of our Lord. Okay, from taking lowly, seemingly lowly individuals like us and allowing us to do miraculous things, allowing us to be delivered out of various situations and to be taken up eventually. When it talks about in the KJV, the strangeness of his salvation, it talks about us being beamed up. Let's go back. Let's switch over to the KJV. I like how it reads that better. All right, let's Wisdom of Solomon 5:1 in the KJV. All right, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness, has more oomph to it, before the face of such as have afflicted him. Okay, the nations have afflicted us, and 2/3 of our people have afflicted us, even to this day, man. You got niggas who wake up just to scoff. That's like the kick in their day. That's the highlight of their day, is to come against the Lord, to come against the Lord's men. And then it's just the same spirits coming back. Remember, 2/3 of our people, they were killing the prophets. Remember, 2/3 of our people, they were murmuring in the wilderness. Remember, 2/3 of our people said, what? Crucify him, crucify him. Let his blood be upon us and our children. Those same spirits are here today. Okay? Verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. It's going to blow people's mind as missiles are falling. People are killing each other and cannibalism is going on. And they see these chariots that they've been hearing about on the news taking believers up, simultaneously zapping this place, setting it on fire. So in the midst of all this chaos and utter hell, there's going to be a glimpse for everybody to see of redemption, somebody being delivered out of it. Verse 2 again, Wisdom of Solomon 5:2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and they shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. We can imagine it now. You could try to visualize it. But whatever you come up with in your head is not going to do it justice. Verse 3. And they repenting, now they want to change their tune. Now they want to get their shit together. Now they want to be on the right side of things. We're going into the inner thought of the wicked man, the man that's not going to make it. Our says, we're a part of that number that does make it. All right? Wisdom of Solomon 5:3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, inner thoughts, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. This is the same dudes. These are the same sisters I looked down on. I thought it was just fucking crazy. I thought they was a part of a cult or some bullshit. This person is numbered amongst the children of God. This person was so important that the Lord personally pulled them out of this situation, out of this hell. Them. That's what's going to be going through their head. Verse 4. Then they're going to realize, we fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. They're going to be like, damn, I was the one that was really crazy. I was the one that was tripping. I was the one that chose the wrong path. That's what they're going to realize. Verse 5. How was he numbered among the children of God and his lot among the saints? Verse 6. Therefore have we erred. We chose the wrong way. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth. And the light of righteousness have not shined unto us. And the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts, and there lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. So this is the I told you so chapter. We're going to get to witness, again, we're part of it. We're going to get to witness the turmoil these people go through, man, when they realize that there is no hope. And they're going to realize there's no hope for them way before the deliverance takes place. During the midst of Jacob's trouble, they're going to realize, man, it's over. There's nothing here. And a lot of people are going to be hoping for death, but it's going to flee from them. Scriptures say that. But you know the difference between the elect? In the midst of all of that, we're always going to have hope. We're going to know that, yeah, we're all catching hell right now, but there's a reward for walking uprightly in the midst of all of this. There's a reward for resisting in the midst of all of this. And if I could just push on through, I'll be good. And on top of that, the elect are going to know that even death doesn't necessarily mean losing. The dead in Yahweh Shah are going to be raised up first. As long as you hold on to the conduct and to your faith, you're good. You actually can't lose if you do that. This is 2 Ezra 7:18. All right. It says, nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things. So straight, S-T-R-A-I-T, meaning a pathway of difficulty. So the righteous and the wicked in this time, in the days to come, are going to be suffering difficult things, man. But there's going to be a slight difference between the two. 2 Ezra 7:18 again from the top. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for the wide. All right, we have hope. We're going to have hope for the wide. We're going to understand that, no, there's a reward. There's a pathway to escape at the end of all of this. Continuing on the second part of the verse. For they that have done wickedly have suffered straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. There's no escape for them. There's no avenue to evade the destruction for them. You see? So choose wisely. All right. Yeah, so we finished in Matthew 25. Okay. Let's go to Ephesians, the 4th chapter. And I think I'm on verse 16. I might start up a little above that a little bit. Ephesians 4. Okay. All right. I'll start at 14. Point I wanted was in 16. All right. Ephesians 4:14. It reads that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine. So you come into this truth, it's no longer a time to be trying to get into all these other different trains of thought and philosophy. Nothing else leads you to salvation from the destruction that's going to come. So why would you even be tapped in and all into some other kind of philosophy, Egyptology, things that don't have nothing to do with what you're trying to accomplish? Now that you know this, you know that you're trying to evade the destruction, right? You know that you're trying to make it to the kingdom of heaven. You know, if you're a man, you want to be a part of that governing body. You want the new bodies that's promised to us. You want immortality. What other train of thought or philosophy that these people are here talking about actually leads to immortality? All right, Ephesians 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Verse 15, but speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things. We grow up and we mold ourselves after the primary example, the blueprint that we were given, which is Yahweh Shai. All right, which is the head, even the Mashiach. Verse 16, from whom the whole body fit jointly together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, making increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. Okay, let's read that in the NLT. Let's read Ephesians 4:16 in the NLT. I wonder how it reads there. It said, he makes the whole body fit together perfectly. Right, the order and instruction we've been given by default, if you're following that example of Yahweh Shai, it forces order to happen. It forces you in your personal life to be in order. It forces you to be in order amongst others who are walking towards Yahweh Shai. Ephesians 4:16. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly, as each part does its own special work. And you realize, okay, the Lord has endowed me with this particular set of skills. He's endowed me with this spirit. So I'm going to focus on my strength and grow in that. Yeah, I'm going to improve my weaknesses. But the strength that the Lord has given me, I'm going to bring that to the table in its fullness. I'm not going to focus on what that brother's strength is. He's been given a different office. Everybody has their part to play. As each part does its own special work, okay, you can't be a liver trying to be a nose. What do you mean by that? Okay, if you're a part of the body, each part function of the body has its own thing that it's supposed to do. A liver is important. If you don't got one, you're gonna die. Thing is though, you don't look at somebody and see the liver. The liver's not in the forefront. The liver may not necessarily get a whole lot of screen time. There were some great men who don't have books in the Bible that were very important to the ministry staying afloat that don't got books in the Bible. We don't know about them. We'll find out about them later. But you got to be okay with possibly not being in the forefront. You got a lot of, this is a tangent, you got a lot of people who found out about this truth and they let this flesh get in the way because they want to be, they got this truth, they heard about it, but they want to be the man more so than the mission being fulfilled. So they break off, they do their own thing, and they go off on things, then they can't be rebuked and all these, you know. They get unconcerned with the mission and more concerned about appearing like the guy. Again, if you don't have a liver, you'll die. The nose is important, okay? It gets a lot of screen time. But you got to be in the spirit to play your part, regardless of what it might be. The Lord's going to give you your just due, all right? You got to trust that. Ephesians 4:16. In the NLT from the top once more. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts grow so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. Okay? Helps the other parts grow. Now we always say this, man. You got men that come in this thing before you and go through particular pitfalls and adversities. And there might be some of you out there that catch particular hells. And what you may not realize is that it might not even be for your sake. It may be The Lord is putting you through that so that you have experiences, and you hit your head, you made the mistakes, and somebody comes along who's experiencing those same things that you may be experiencing now or experienced before. And now through the Spirit, you can impart knowledge, understanding, and wisdom on how to deal with it through the scriptures. Okay, I went through this. This is how you actually should. Don't do this. You do this, this is going to happen. There's some brothers that you catch hell in certain ways, so that when another brother comes along, you're able to impart understanding to him. Because you bumping your head, it necessarily didn't destroy you. But those same pitfalls could destroy another brother. So sometimes the Lord has us catch hell to impart understanding unto another. Sometimes it might not even necessarily just be judgment. It might necessarily not just be a test of, obviously it's a test for learning, but a lot of times it's for somebody else's sake. So keep that in mind too. All right, I'm gonna read this one more time. Ephesians 4:16 NLT. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly, as each part does its own special work and helps other parts grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. All right. So by default, when we subscribe to that order, we subscribe to the Lord's way of thinking. It forces order in our own life, and it forces order amongst each other, and it creates an environment so that growth can even happen. All right, now I want to go to Proverbs. What is it? 21? Did I read that already? Now I read Proverbs 24. I want to go to Proverbs 21 and 5. Bear with me, y'all. I'll pull it up. Proverbs 21 and 5. It says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to the plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. Now let's read it in NLT. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity. So diligence. You give your time to the Lord, He's going to increase your spirit to deal with all in spirit, a destitute spirit. Okay, a lot of people, again, you get this knowledge and you learn a little something. You've been learning for 4, 5, 6 years, shit, maybe 10 years, and you think you got it. You think you're a master teacher. There's certain things that you haven't experienced firsthand that you would not know what to do. We have our apostles and elders, man, who've been doing this for 40 years, 30, 35 years. The bishops, 25, 30, 20 years. The up and coming elders, 20 years. You always got to be in the mode to be a student. There's going to be times for you to lead, but never. Let me get this precept. All right, Galatians 6 and 3. I'll start at the top. Galatians 6 and 1. It says, brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, walking in the spirit, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness. So another person that's in the truth, they going off. Hey, man, I see you doing this. You handled it this way. The scriptures say, keep this in mind. This is how you should deal with those particular matters. You got to restore such a one, right? Considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. And when you go to correct somebody, always pray first. Lord, if there be any error in me, make it evident so that I could change it and fix it. I pray that you open my brother's ears. I pray that you open my sister's ears so that she can receive this in righteousness. I pray that you put the words in my mouth so that they can receive it. All right? And you do handle your business. Verse 2. Bear you one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of the Mashiach. For if a man, that's the point I wanted in verse 3. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. Okay? Your only value is your usefulness to the Lord. And when you're puffed up in pride, your usefulness to the Lord goes away. It goes away. You can't perceive a lot of the things you need to perceive. You can't hear the things that you need to hear. You can't maneuver the way you need to maneuver when you're walking in pride. Because a lot of the times, the Lord will have information or insight come from sources that are unlikely, that would seem unlikely to the carnal eye. All right. So back to Proverbs 21:5. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. Okay. And you don't want to be spiritually destitute. And that's talking about carnally destitute too. Because brothers ain't just filthy rich. But you get to a point where you're in the truth where you have what you need from day to day. Some brothers have a little bit more. All right? But you know, you shouldn't be in a state of complete poverty with all these tools and the wisdom that the Lord has given us. All right? Just got that out the way. I want to read that just to emphasize the importance of, you know, subscribing to the Lord's strategy. The Lord is very strategic, if you haven't noticed. For instance, I'm going to bring up this example. We talked about it this past Tuesday at camp. I forgot, what is that? BOW, Believers of the Way. They re-uploaded it. They took it down now. But they re-uploaded a video of them years back burning an American flag. They said they were burning idols. You burn the idols down with the word in this time. There was a time where we were actually going on, you know, conquest and taking over lands where we were burning their idols. Okay, cool. But the weapons of our warfare in this time are spiritual, not carnal, to the pulling down of strongholds. You doing that is going to be ammunition for the devil to say, oh, they're terrorists, we're going to roll on them. They're going to do that anyway. But the scriptures tell us to what? To be blameless. Wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So yeah, they're going to roll on us anyway, but you don't give them ammunition to justify it. They're going to make it up and justify it however. But the elect, the spiritual, are going to see, oh, this devil, he's going after these people for no reason. They're in the wrong. The spiritual are going to see through the whatever lies that this devil pushes to justify it. But you giving them ammunition for no reason. The scriptures also say that we're supposed to abstain from all appearance of evil. Now we know that this devil is wicked, and that his whole society needs to be cast down. The earth needs new management. Fully agree, right? But you doing something that actual terrorist groups are known for doing makes it to where the ministry could seemingly be aligned with their agenda. When they're so far beneath us, we don't have anything to do with them. That's low level shit. We're talking about a righteous dominion on the earth, an everlasting kingdom, something that's of the heavens. And you did some earthly bullshit, low level bullshit to liken us to subscribe to the Lord's strategy. Okay? All right, Proverbs 22:3, it says, a prudent man sees danger and takes refuge, but the simple keep going and suffer for it, and also entrap other people in their bullshit. So right now, man, you need to be in the spirit of order. You need to follow the example of the men that the Lord has set up for righteousness to continue, for excellence to continue. All right? But you know, you got people that just, they're going to want to do their own thing. All right, this is, I want to go to 1 Corinthians 16. Let me get there real quick. And I'll pretty much close out with this. First Corinthians 16:13 in the NLT, it says, be on guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, and do everything with love. And now we're going to read in the KJV. It says, watch ye, stand fast in the faith. Quit you like men. Why does it say it like that? be strong. Let all your things be done with charity. Okay? So when you talk about being strong, things being done with charity, all right, that all encompasses the order and the example of the men before us, of the apostles, of our forefathers in the scriptures, on how they move amongst each other. If you move with that same energy and foresight and consideration, you will be in a good place with the Lord, and you will be in good standing with the people around you, the believers around you. And you'll be in good standing with yourself, man. You'll be doing right by yourself. So, you know, gotta move in order. Gotta subscribe to it. Gotta have, you know, the understanding of these scriptures. Be serious about it, because this is going to be a shield from the deception. Having this understanding, like the scriptures say, the knowledge and wisdom should be the stability of that time. Having this understanding is going to be a shield from the deception they're about to spin out here in this society. They're about to put it right up in your face, to the point to where if you didn't have this truth, you would be deceived by it. All right? So, you know, Abarat's eye was edifying again. You know, the whole Dallas camp, we're just doing live streams today. We're pretty sure Abarat's eye will go live for class tomorrow, about 4:35 o'clock Central Time, like normal. But everything should be back to normal next Tuesday, all right, for camp. So, Abarat's man, this was edifying. I'll have to look at this comment board real quick. Abarat's the lesson was edifying. You got something from it. Man, this was edifying. I want to give all praises once more to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom. And the water to all the brothers who put comments up and scriptures up on the comment board. I'm going to do better next time to read them. All right, shalom.